What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and we finally have episode 2 of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise. And this is really sort of the first video, right? Because the first one was just the intro to the team. We simmed through the preseason, we cut the roster to 53, but now it starts to get real. We're in week 1. We are going to Minnesota to take on my favorite team in real life, the Minnesota Vikings. But before we get there, I want to see if maybe we can make a little move or two. Nothing too major, but I have a couple of ideas thanks to some of your guys' comments on the last video, which, by the way, guys, thank you so much for the support on that video. It has over 1,000 views, which for me and my franchise videos is not a very normal thing. So I really appreciate the support on that video. I hope that we can continue to get that same energy for the rest of the series, and I can continue to deliver good enough videos for you guys to want to watch in that respect, because while 1,000 views might not be a lot to most YouTubers, to me that is a really good thing to see and awesome to see. So thank you again so much for that. First though, we do have to get the draft class figured out, so let's go ahead and let's see what we're working with for this first year. And I've already went ahead and fired all of the scouts. Now we're going to look and see what is going to be the areas that we need to hit in this draft. Luckily for us, there's a lot of holes on this team, so not too many drafts can really be a bummer for us. We should be able to find value at almost any position for this team. So I'm excited for that. Let's take a look at the national first, and we'll just see what is the strength. It says wide receivers, of course, are the strength. And looking here, there's a few round 1 QB options. We have Joseph McCoy out of Cincinnati, Demario Weathersby from Memphis, Denzel Pearson from Michigan State. And then it gets down to around 2 to 3 guys. We have 2 of those, Dalton McCoy, 2 McCoys in the same draft. Jeez Louise. Well, at least they reworked all that stuff, right, guys? And then Kari Rhodes from South Dakota State. So right here, this already tells me that even though quarterback is probably our number 1 need, I am not going to waste the National Scout on this because it just doesn't make sense. Cincinnati and Michigan State, and hell, depending on how they have it laid out, we might be able to hit 2, if not 3 of these guys on just choosing quarterback for one of them. So we're not going to do National Scout here. Here is Mike Gibson. That's the guy they talked about, 5'8", 208. And this is a position that we might have to go after. Now, will I want to go after it early? That is something that I'm not sure about, just because of other bigger needs. And we do have a guy that I like in Rashad White. I want to see what he can do. So chances are, if we do go after a running back, it would probably be later on, which there's not too many of them in this draft. Honestly, a lot of day 3 guys, which is fine with me. We can make day 3s work. There's usually some pretty good gems down here. I haven't done too many drafts, so this is going to be a lot of new stuff for me as well. Wide receiver is tough for me because we have 2 really good receivers, but behind him, we don't know what is going to happen with Trey Palmer. Will he become that guy that I want him to be? And even behind him, I don't think Russell Gage is going to be somebody that hangs on too long for the long haul. I could be wrong. I haven't seen these guys play yet, so I mean, take that with a grain of salt. But it wouldn't hurt to think about receivers, because there's a lot of them, a lot of good ones. And if we can know a lot about all of these guys, maybe even if it doesn't mean going after a guy like Danny Mason or Taylor Wharton, but trying to find some gems down here in the later rounds would be awesome to see. So this is definitely one I would want to consider. Plus, with it being a strength, we'll get that bonus for unlocking information for doing a tier 3 scout and having the strength. So that's something I definitely want to try and do. Tight end, that's another position that we might need to look at. Now, the first guy here, Nick Cunningham, to me, just not tall enough to be my tight end. I don't like a tight end that's less than 6'4" in height. He's 6'3". So the next one is rounds 3 to 4. Jamie Weston, 6'5". Jermichael McAllister, he's also only 6'3". Dwayne Albert, 6'6". I like that. James Blake as well at 6'6". Literally the same build. Okay. Good to see. And the 6'2", 6'5", 6'6", 6'4", 6'4", 6'5". Okay, so we have some good options here. I don't think I'll put a lot of stock into looking at these guys. I'll probably just go off of the things that we do unlock. Not something that I really absolutely need to target. And again, we also have free agency to think about once we get to the offseason to see if we can find somebody. And there's usually a good tight end or 2 we can bring in. Maybe not a franchise altering one, but a good one nonetheless. Tackles. We do need a right tackle really, really bad. Really bad. Like, I might need to, I don't even know if there's somebody available in free agency, but if there is, I might have to consider bringing them in because our starter is a 66. That's not acceptable in the slightest. There is a few, but then it jumps off a cliff after the first round 1 guys. So 3 guys that are potentially round 1 talents, and then it dives off a cliff down to day 3 guys before going to the UDFAs. There's a few more in the right tackle and plus a top 5, so that is good to see. And that is obviously the position that we need the most is a right tackle. The question is going to be, is there, yeah, see, only 5. Here's another spot where I don't think we could go national scout, but if I can find a spot that has like 3 or 4 of these guys included, I would definitely put a scout on them to learn more about them. And then looking at the interior, oh my gosh, nobody before round 3 to 4. Only 2 left guards before undrafted territory. Centers are the same way. 2 guys. Right guard is a little bit better. A couple of round 1 to 2s, round 2 to 3s, 1 3 to 4, a day 3, and then UDFAs. So might be some slim pickings this year for the offensive line. Hopefully we find either a trade or some free agency help to get this line bolstered up, because we cannot go more than this season with the current line that we have. And then on to the defensive side of the ball, we have defensive ends. This one I don't want to put too much stock in right now because I want to see what we can do with Cansey and with Logan Hall. Can they develop a little bit throughout the season? So I really am excited with those guys, so I don't want to put too much stock in them. We'll see if nothing else pops up. It's something that I would look at, but even then, I mean, a couple of top flight guys and then it's day 3s, right? So do you really want to spend a scout on that? Now the right ends, however, the right ends are loaded, it looks like. Yeah, 6 guys potentially with round 1 projections. The one thing though is a lot of these look like they're more 4-3 ends than they are 3-4 ends. You know, 268, I guess that's not too bad. 266, 259, 261, 312, Marcus Hood, the first one, and Donnell Sullivan. Both of those guys would be able to slide in a 3-4. So something that we can check on. Wow, a lot more. So that's definitely different. Last year, they did not have this many guys that seemed to be just 4-3 rushers. They seemed to have a lot more of the bigger guys down here, and then most of the linebackers or the outside linebackers were the ones that were considered the edge rushers for a 4-3. D tackle also has quite a few options. I like that. Not too many. Okay, wow, look at this. A lot of day 3 guys. A lot of day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 day 3 prospects at D tackle. So what that tells me is we would definitely want to try and find a sleeper, right? Because there's so many guys down here. We wouldn't have to reach, but there is also a lot of round 1. So this is a top and bottom heavy class, but the middle is very lackluster. And a couple of these guys could even play end too, right? Like somebody like, you know, Earl Wilcox. Well, really any of these guys, depending on what their skill is, but just looking at them, Wilcox is probably going to be more of your pass rush type D tackle, which could definitely slide outside for us in our system. Shepard, well, that guy is definitely a nose tackle, 6'4", 355. So plenty of options here at D tackle for us to look at. Moving up to the linebackers, TJ Valentine, 6'6", 270. That is definitely an edge rusher, and that's something we need to focus on too. I'm not sure how much longer Barrett is going to be here, or if we're even going to keep him, depending on what his regression is at the end of the season. So not too many though at the left outside linebacker. Over on the right side, same sort of situation. One guy standing out among the rest, and Dalton Isaac. Marcus Smith, 2nd to 3rd, Caleb Christie, 3 to 4, Anthony Moore, Joe Hurst, Mike Streets. Okay, they have a good number of day 3s as well. So there could be some gems hidden in here, but not a lot of top tier talent that I'm seeing right now in most of these positions outside of really the right ends. The receivers seem to be the money makers right now when it comes to who you really want to make sure you scout, because there's a lot of options. Middle linebackers, nobody before rounds 3 to 4. Man, this is the same as last year. Just not a lot of off-ball linebackers getting shown here. We'll have to see if maybe a few of them have trickled into the outside linebackers. Like Caleb Christie here could be a good target for middle linebacker. Same with Anthony Moore, 6'2", 225. Joe Hurst, another one. Some of these guys that aren't 6'4", 6'5", that's usually your tell that they're more of a 4-3 inside backer type of build rather than a 3-4 edge rusher build. Jamar Harper out here. Okay, good. So middle linebacker might be a little lackluster, but we do have options on the outside that we can look at as well. So we'll see sort of where that goes and what we can find in the scouts area. And then, wow, look at that. 2 top 5s at corner. Again, corner is sort of like receiver. We have 2 good guys, but then, like I've mentioned in the last video, it drops off a cliff. McCollum is the very next best at a 68 overall, and we just can't work with that, right? We have to have something better there. So this will be an area that we'll look at for sure. And depending on how they get broken down, you know, if we can find enough in one area, then we'll look into that for a scout. Otherwise, this might have to be another one that's considered for the national scout, much like the wide receivers are right now. I'm not too concerned with safety, even though I would like to replace our strong safety at some point. It's not that we're that bad off to where we need to right now. So I'm not going to be really looking too much at these guys. I might end up taking one if one falls that I like, but it's not something that's on my list of things to do right now. And it doesn't seem to be that strong of a class, but you never know. I mean, you could, just because it's not a strong class from the projections does not mean it's not a strong class from the actual talent that is in this class. So I'll keep an eye on it. We'll see where things go and keep an eye on the stories especially. Okay, so now it's time for us to really look down. We know a couple of positions. I would say first right now would be corner. Actually, no, first is defensive end for me. Right now, defensive end is numero uno. Even though we have guys, I want to look at defensive ends not only for our defensive ends, but D tackle and our edge rushers, right? Because we can find 3 different positions from just that area. So that really covers 2 levels of our defense. Plus, it'll help our inside linebackers as well, because we saw that there was a good chunk of those guys that'll probably be off-ball linebackers. And so I would put that as the first one for national. And then the second tier, I would probably put corner, because I think that's a bigger need than what our wide receivers are. And then lastly, I would put wide receiver. And luckily for us, it says the strength, of course, is those 3, which is very, very apparent by looking at it. So any one of them that we choose to go with is going to be a good decision. So let's see what the West has to offer. Did they fix this at all? Right? That's the question, because we know last year the West and the Central were pretty much dead zones. You wouldn't be able to find much for players in them. So let's go back to the regional here, and let's go to defensive ends. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that are around 1 to 2. Well, first, let's just count how many we have total. So we have 12 total at defensive ends that are draftable, right? For right ends, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a total of 20 defensive ends that are considered draftable. And now let's see if we can find where, like, if the West has enough of them available. So the West has Alexander Schmidt at around 1 to 2. And then only 3 guys on this side. So only 4 of the 20 would be scoutable if we went in the West. So probably not something that we want to look at doing. Now let's look at the corners. So we have, let's count how many we have here. So we have 25 corners with a draftable grade, and the West has 4 of them. Okay, so it's apparent that the West is still lackluster in quite a few things. Let's see if there's maybe receivers. Again, we have 25 receivers, same as with the corners. And we have 2 of them in the West. Okay, this is awesome. This is starting out great. Can you guys sense my sarcasm? Okay, so let's go back and let's look at second positions. Okay, what about D tackle? I mentioned D tackle being one that we could potentially look at. And that one has 17 players that are draftable, and the West has 2 of them. Okay, this is just absolutely phenomenal. I'm so happy right now. All right, let's check running backs, right? So there are 15 running backs draftable, and there are 5 in the West. Okay, so that right now is the best we've had, I think. Well, defensive end was pretty close, I would say. There was 4 defensive ends. So right now it's a toss-up between halfbacks and defensive ends, and neither of them should be considered the winner by any stretch of the imagination, but this is the West in Madden 24 we're talking about. Okay, so we now know that there is not a lot of love for West still. And we know that halfbacks and defensive ends are probably our best bet for the most bang for our buck in this area, which would mean that one of them, if we can try to work it to not be the national scout, we'll table the West right now as the location for halfbacks. And that is simply because they have the top guy, they have a 2 to 3, and then they also have a couple of day 3 guys down here. I also think that Madden needs to realize that not all these running backs are 5'8". A lot of them are usually between 5'10" and 6 foot. But a lot of these running backs are all like sub 5'9", which I'm not sure where they got their calculations from to make this algorithm, but it's a little weird. So I'm not sure if we're gonna go halfbacks here either. This is getting a little insane here. Let's check out what scouts are available. Okay, so we do have a defensive end and defensive tackle 3-star, which is good because, like I said, defensive end seems to be a very big spot, especially on the right end side of things, but getting a secondary with D tackle would be really nice. I'm trying to see if we've got to have one. We have one for corner and safety. I'd love to see if we can get one that's like wide receiver corner or something. That would be ideal, but I don't know if they really have them that. Oh, let me shut up. Look at this. Corner and wide receiver as expert. That might really be worth it. That hits 2 of our positions. And yes, I know that the secondary isn't going to unlock the same amount, but it is more unlocked on that position. If we decide to go with a certain area, then we could still get even extra boosts from that. So I do like that. The question though is, can we find corners in enough areas to where we can get a good chunk of them? So let's go and take a look at the corners and wide receivers and see if it's worth a national scout. Okay, so wide receivers, we already talked about this. There's 25 of them all together. Now, where are they all located? So the Northeast has 8 of them. The Southeast has 5. Central, wow, actually a lot in Central, 10 of them. Okay, guys, I think I might know what I want to do here. I think I might have an idea. I have to confirm my theory, though. I think I might go defensive end for National Scout. And here's why. Defensive end will have us hitting D-end, D-tackle, and edge rushers. Not all of them together, right? Not all those actual positions, but we know that position of D-end can do all 3 of those positions in our system. A 3-4 D-end, a nose tackle potentially, and an edge rusher. So that would cover 3 positions on defense, right? The corners and wide receivers are actually really stacked up nicely in Central and Southeast. So I could double dip and have wide receiver as the main focus in the Central, with corner as maybe a secondary if I can find a couple of those, and then have corner as the main in the Southeast with maybe wide receiver trickled in, and we could sort of group them all together to get extra talent evaluations from everybody. That's what I'm thinking right now. So let me go and see if I can find that setup in the scouts. All right, guys, so I think I found the formula to at least build the majority of this scouting class with. So for the tier 3, we could do national scout, primary, defensive end, right? We know that that is considered a strength, so we'll get the boost. Secondary is outside linebacker, so now that's also going to cover a little bit extra for the outside edge rushers and the potential off-ball linebackers I spoke about being able to slide inside in our defense, which allows us to cover essentially the entire front 7 of our team for extra scouting upgrade points. Then I found a 2 and a 1 tier for CB and wide receiver. So we could get corners and wide receivers hit all over the place between the Southeast and the Central to hit about 70% of them for extra scouting. Awesome setup right now, and I'm going to set that up right away. So we're going to go and put Calvin Heath is going to be assigned the national, and then we got Deion Sanders as the corner. We're going to put him in the Southeast, and And we're going to put that as our tier 2 because I think corner is a bigger need right now. And then we'll put wide receiver with a secondary of corner in the central. So now all we have to do is find something in the west and the northeast that trips my trigger. No way. Look at how this is working out, guys. 2 of the 3 first-round quarterbacks are in the northeast. Done. I mean, it'll only be a tier 1, but it's done. I'm gonna go quarterback in northeast. Let's see if we can find a secondary position to hit. What normally pairs with the quarterbacks? Oh, we have wide receivers. A lot of wide receivers. I found one, guys. Felix Perez. First expertise is quarterback, second wide receiver. He is gonna go northeast. And now all we need to do is put somebody in the west. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but I'm not a big fan of the running backs they have available here in the west. I'm still considering doing it just because I do know that running back will eventually be a need. But if I can fit in some either more wide receivers or more corners or something else here just to try to get a few, that would be ideal. Yeah, I think I might go corners here. I really think we need to hit on corners. I really do. Or actually, maybe safeties. Yeah, there's 6 safeties altogether that fit in the west. So let's try to find one with safety. Maybe we can find one with secondary as corner as well. And we found him. Curtis Caldwell is safety with corner as the second expertise. So we're going to set him to the west. And that is our scouting assignments for the season. I think this one played out really well for us. Really did. There's some seasons, as I'm sure most of you know who play franchise, where scouts just don't line up. Your needs don't line up. Things are just weird. This year, though, this draft class, this feels right. So I'm happy with this. I didn't even have to second guess a lot of these. Super happy with how it turned out. Let's go ahead and let's see about maybe a potential trade or two. There are a lot of running backs available. However, I don't know if I want to pay so much in trade value to get some of these, and I don't also think some of these are realistic. Like, I don't think the Patriots would have Stevenson on the block. The Texans just signed Singletary. Mitchell is a good number 2. I don't see them going for another running back. Why get rid of him then? You know, I would love to try and bring in James Robinson. The reason I think this is okay is this man just got cut from the Giants. He had a great year with the Jaguars, which seems like an eternity ago, and then has bounced around everywhere since. And I feel like this man could be a decent running back. And he fits the power role that I'm looking for to go along with Rachaad White. And I don't think the price would be too steep for him either. Now, we don't have much room to play with. After all the cutting and everything, I was only able to muster up $6.9 million in cap room. But it's something, right? So I'm just looking here through some of these running backs. Can we find a diamond in the rough to add to this team that's not going to cost us too much? Because I'm not a big fan of Chase Edmonds, to be honest with you. I feel like Edmonds is a lesser version of what Rachaad White can be. And if we're going to have a second running back on the team, I want somebody that's going to be almost different, right? I don't want the same thing, because that's sort of defeats the purpose. And this is the trade that I have just come up with that I think might be a pretty decent deal, right? Edmonds, yes, he's a little older by 2 years, but he's around the same overall as James Robinson. The only difference is Robinson fits what I want to do here a little bit better than what Edmonds can give me. And like I said, I think Edmonds is a little bit lesser version of what Rachaad White will be for us. So why have 2 of the same guys on the team if I can have the Lightning and the Thunder? As you guys know, I like having the 1-2 punch. I like having a power back. And I'm throwing in the 6 because of the difference in age and the difference in just what they do. This will replace the running back. It gives them another option outside of Barkley. And also, Robinson just got cut from the Giants, man, which surprised me. But yeah, I'm going to try and see if we can get this to go through. Okay, so they don't like that trade enough. I can offer them a 5th next year, not this year, because we don't have a lot of picks this year. So I'm going to offer a pick 5 for next season with Robinson in tow. We'll see if they go for that. And they do. Awesome. So now James Robinson is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. and we have ourselves the power back that I've been looking for. And then there is another trade that I really want to try to make work. And it was somebody that you guys left me in the comments. Somebody left this comment, and honestly, when I read the comment, I was like, you know what? This almost makes too much sense. We saw the class, and we know the class might not be the strongest. There's not that many options available to us, and who knows what there will be. But there is somebody who is, I feel like, and this is my personal opinion, some people might not feel this way. I feel like somebody has not had a very good opportunity to showcase what they can potentially do in this league. And he has been the talk of the town everywhere for the last 2 weeks, and recently has found a new home now. But in this world, he is still with his original team. And we have ourselves an issue, and that is, what the heck are we going to do at quarterback? And yes, I'm talking about exactly who you think I am. And that is Trey Lance, guys. Trey Lance. I don't know if the guy's going to be good in real life. He might be. He might not be. But I think it's fair to say that regardless of your thoughts of him, you can agree that he has not had much opportunity to throw the football, to even learn a system, or even have a chance to see what he can do. We have a spot right now that is up for grabs, and that is the quarterback position. Baker Mayfield is not the answer. This kid could be a long-term solution. I want to try and trade for him. Let's see if we can make it happen. I'll offer a little bit more than what was offered to the 49ers in the real life. And I'm going to offer a 2025 4th round pick and a 2024 7th round pick to see if we can bring Trey Lance to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not sure if this is going to go well, but this is the trade that did happen in real life, essentially. So, I mean, this should work, and it did not. Okay, let's see what they're offering. Let's see what the offer could be for him. So, if we want to bring Trey Lance in, we could do it for a 3rd 2 years from now and a 6th this year. Wow, that's actually not a bad trade at all. I mean, yes, we're giving up a 3rd, but it's down the line. It's 2 years from now, which will suck in 2026, but right now it doesn't seem like a bad move. Or we could go the route to save a 3rd, give up the 4th this year, 5th and a 7th. I don't know if I can do that though. We have 1 through 3, a 4th, and then a 7th right now because of the trade we just did for James Robinson. So I don't know if I want to give up that much. I honestly think I want to go for this one. I think this works. Let's do it. Screw it. Okay, the next thing we have to do is we need a corner. I was just looking at it. I literally kept a guy because I like to have at least 5 corners. That was a 62 overall on my active roster, guys, because that was what was available on the roster. I'm not doing it. I just can't. I'm not saying I'm going to sign somebody who's like all the way up here, but I need to sign somebody and fast. Let's see who is available to us. I'm definitely not signing Eli Apple. I do not like that guy. Trayvon Mullen is not too bad of an option. Let's see. Kendall Sheffield might be better. Got a little bit more speed to him. Let's see what the awareness. Okay, so awareness is a little bit better. Terrence Mitchell's awareness is actually pretty darn good. Same with Bradley Roby. Jalen Mills. That might not be a bad move, guys. This isn't something where we need them for a long haul. You know what I mean? I don't like the speed, though. Only 88 speed. All right, so there isn't a lot of guys left, but one person I'm looking at is Duke Shelley. All right, I like Duke Shelley. He was a guy that was on my Vikings last year. I thought he played pretty decently for us. I was surprised they didn't bring him back, but he's 26, right? He's a 74 overall, and he doesn't have too bad of ratings, to be honest. I mean, his speed is 89, but he's got 91 excel, 77 man, 75 zone. Play rec is 74, awareness 76. His injury is a little bit down, but this might be the best move for us to get a quick nickel guy in to see what we can do there. So I'm going to try and make a move for Duke Shelley here. All right, we got the pick we needed. We ended up moving Greg Gaines and a 6th round pick next year to the Raiders for the rights to Duke Shelley. All right, so after the trades and a couple of just little free agent signings to try and shore things up on this team, I am really excited to see what we have with this team. Now, am I expecting us to do some crazy stuff? No, I'm not. But we now have a new quarterback, Trey Lance. We're going to give him a shot, see what he can do. It doesn't pay to start Baker Mayfield. Now, if Lance struggles, we have an option in Baker. But with them both being a 72 overall and Lance being 23, it just doesn't make sense to not give Lance the shot right away and see if he can be something. We also now have a good 1-2 punch with Rashad White and James Robinson. I also signed Eric Fisher out of free agency and moved him to right tackle. Much bigger improvement from Gedeke. If I said that right, I'm not sure if I did. Godeke? I'm assuming it's Gedeke, who was a 67 overall. So now we have a 72. That is much better. And then on defense, not much has changed because I really only messed around with the backup left end, which was Greg Gaines. And now we still have Canty and Hall. Plus, we now have Duke Shelley in the slot for us. So I feel much more comfortable going into our first season with this team. And hopefully we can see some good stuff out of the young guys to know who we have moving forward in this series. All right, so now it is time for us to get to the game. We finally are playing the game. It seems like I've been recording for a long time because there's a lot of stuff to do, but I want to let you guys know ahead of time, I am running everything based on pro. Everything based on pro, simulation, 12-minute quarters, 15-second runoff. I have a play call cooldown set, but everything else is set to base. I have nothing changed. It's all 50s across the board for the sliders. And I have injuries turned down to 10, and a momentum meter is turned off, even though I know there's a bug where it's still technically on. That is what I'm running it as because I want to try and keep abilities on right now. They said that they reworked the entire data for how the abilities play out, and it makes it more authentic. So I want to try and see if they can work. So I'm going to use the base sliders and just see where it takes me. So you probably will see different gameplay because I'm going to be tweaking the sliders. Once I have a good slider set down, I will definitely share with you guys. But as for right now, it's just all base and we're going to go from there. So without further ado, I also forgot to talk about the training, right? Now that you have these mini games and you have the ability to actually get dev increases and extra XP, I'll definitely be playing these more often. Please let me know down below, guys, if you want me to include this in the videos, maybe not every week, but more frequently, to show the training side of things for the team. I will do that. If you guys don't like it, let me know that too, and I can just skip over it. Maybe I'll just tell you guys if we get the dev upgrade that you can get sometimes. But yeah, so let's go ahead and we're gonna start with Trey Lance. And I'm gonna aim for that deep one right away. I wanna get a good one to start. Perfect. There we go. All right, now this next one, we can get a double if we go over the middle to Godwin. Go right here. Away from the break in. Right there, boom. Bullseye one. Bullseye, oh, in a ring. But hey, that was still a good one. Okay, and now for the third attempt, I want to try to get both of these here, but it's got to be a quick throw. Right there, boom. Got them both. But he did not catch it. Okay, hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. Now we're going to go for the deep one downfield to Evans here. Deep downfield to Evans. And we get one. He doesn't catch it, but we got the target, so that's good. And then here's another one for Evans. I'm going to run over here. Get both of those. Oh, just one. Oh, well. Okay, here's another double we can get. I think this will be for Evans. Oh, way too late. We're only going to get one. That was my bad. I don't know what I was thinking. I waited way too long to throw that. Not sure if we're going to be able to get gold. Fire it in there. Come on. Oh, it just goes over the head. And we only have one left. One left. It's got to be a good one here. And we only get one. That's unfortunate. Boom. We just got 3. That was big. First throw, we get 1750. That was huge right there. And then we get a double right there, and he makes the catch. Okay, now we are in business, folks. That was a great way to start. And I'm not even going to risk it for the biscuit here. I'm just going to throw it right through here for a quick bullseye. Have Evans make the catch. And this time we're going to go to Godwin. Another one. That one's a middle ring hit, so that's good. I just don't want to risk it too much for a deep route and then end up not getting it. You know what I mean? There we go. Another one to Evans. He makes the catch. All right. Let's not screw this up too much. Let's go to Godwin on this one. Boom. Double. And he makes the catch. That right there is big time. Okay. Now we got something we're working with here. I'm just going to go to Otten here right over the middle. Not even going to try to risk it too much. Or maybe Palmer. Yep. Palmer. There we go, and he makes it, and that is right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is gold. All we have to do is not royally screw this up. Perfect. We get gold. The second person I want to work on is Trey Palmer. So we're going to do the wide receiver battle here. And this one is really easy, guys. It might take you a few seconds to get used to it, but once you get the understanding down, it's actually really easy to hit good numbers in this one. The corners really suck in press, so as long as you can get off the route, and if you can't, boom, cut them, you can at least still get something there. You know, if they get a good press, which isn't very often. I tried to do a little move on him, it did not work, but I can cut it back here and still get a good one. 400 points. I want to try to beat him off the press here and get up to that 500, but it's not that easy. There we go, and that's going to count too. You don't have to get in the exact middle of it either. Like, you can sort of land around the edges and it'll still count for... Oh, there we go. Huge release. Time it up. And oh my god, we're going to miss it by a half an inch. Alright, we still got good points though. We're not that far away from gold. We're going to go... Oh, wow. Right by him. And that's perfect. That's perfect. 500, and there's gold right there. Two more left. All we had to do is just not screw it up. Try to get fancy here. Boom. Oh my god. Oh, we put him in the sauce machine right there. And we're gonna go for another touchdown. Yeah, I said the sauce machine, guys. I don't care. That was cool. Oh, again, leaving him in the dust. And this one is gonna land right in the circle perfectly for another 500, and we get 20,000. Okay, so Kalia Kansi is the next one, so we're gonna do this one here. I hate this one, but I mean, we got to do it, right? Oh, that was a quick beat. That was a quick beat, and we get him. Nice. Boom, put the quick moves on him. Oh, fake him out again, and got him. That swim move is dangerous with Kansi. Look at him ripping past these guys. And we get gold. First try. After the training, we did get some upgrades. James Robinson gonna get one right away. That is good. We're gonna do power back for him. There we go. Trucking, carrying, and awareness. Kalia Kansi also gonna get one. I want to try to balance this run stopper out with him as well. So we'll go one to run stopper. Get that up to a 70. We get some good stuff there. Plus, he got one to acceleration. That is nice. And Trey Palmer is gonna get one. And I think we're going to do slot for him. He definitely needs to get better with his short to intermediate game here. And he'll get catching traffic and 2 to short route running. All right, so now before we get to the game, I know this has been a long video, right? This is the intro to the new franchise, so I guess it sort of has to be a long video, which is why it took so long for me to get it uploaded and for it to get edited and recorded and all that stuff. So I do apologize for that, guys, but as I've told you guys before, man, this right now is a side gig for me. As much as I would like it to be a full-time gig for me, it just cannot be. So other things come into play, and these longer videos do take longer to record, so I hope you guys understand. But anyway, this is the last part before we get to the actual game, I promise. And I just wanted to go over our talent trees, show you guys what we have, and yeah, we'll just go from there. I don't know if you guys have checked out the video I posted. I put a video out like a week and a half ago, and it didn't get much traction, which I mean, I guess, you know, that's just how YouTube works. But I really thought with Madden being so high up on the searchable stuff that it would pop up, but it didn't. But if you guys want to know about all the changes to this talent tree here, I will put a link in the top right of this video right now for you guys to go and check out. It explains every single option you can get with your talent tree now, because there's a lot of changes that took place. So if you guys watched that video or know about them, looked into them yourself, then you'll know what I'm talking about with some of this stuff when I'm going through it. If you didn't, then you might get a little lost and you need to click that link on the top right. All right, so anyway, our staff, obviously head coach is all the same. I'm not worried about that. Offensive coordinator. This was another reason I was happy about bringing in Trey Lance. We have the quarterback guru. I want this guy to be a pocket passer, so I want him to get better at accuracy. That's been his issue, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue to upgrade this, because if we can get a good quarterback going, then our team is going to play much better. And then I am going to do boost play action. And that pretty much brings us to the end of our upgrades. So we have quarterback guru, secure the line, which will be very important down the line, and then quick throws. So we'll have some good short and release stuff for our receivers and tight ends. I like what our talent tree has. I didn't actually have to change this at all. This is what the team came with. And then defensively, we have inside 3-4, second level, and defensive back guru. So I think we have actually pretty good talent tree role for the coordinators. It is finally here. It is week 1, and we are in Minnesota, guys. I'm really excited to get this series kicked off. I hope you guys are as well. And again, man, having to go up against my favorite team in the first episode really of this series is not something I wanted to do. But hey, you can't not show week 1, right? That's the biggest time of the year, is week 1. And hopefully, with the new acquisitions we made, we can come in here and maybe make a little noise, right? I'm not sure if I should expect us to really win this game, but I think we have a shot. We have a new quarterback. We have a good 1-2 punch at running back. We solidified the line as much as we could. We brought in Duke Shelley. I think this is at least a decent start to this franchise. And now it's time for us to see Trey Lance. First chance on offense. And Lance right away running around. He finds an open Trey Palmer. Roughing the passer on top of the big play here. Lance, he's going to take off with it. He's got some space, and he dives forward for a gain of 8 yards. So far, Lance giving us some nice plays here in the first 2 plays of the game. And we're going to go to White on the left side. He gets a big block to the outside. Tries to put the moves on Lewis Cine, and he's dropped at the 18. A big pickup of 15. Offense is humming right now. Let's see if we try to use that off like a little play action look here. We do. Play action. Lance going to take off with it. He's got a blocker in front of him and gets brought down at the 10. Good job by Davenport breaking off of his block and making the play. Did not expect to see that. Hand off, White, right up the gut, down inside the 5 to the 3. We got to finish this off with a touchdown. No way we can settle for 3. And there's White right up the gut for the touchdown. And on our opening drive of a Bucs franchise, we drive right down the field and put up 6. All right, so after that scoring drive that you guys just saw, I just skipped the rest of the first quarter because it was atrocious play from everybody. The only bright spot really was Rachaad White, who has been able to sustain a couple of drives for us, but eventually it ends up leading to punts. That was his 8th or 9th carry, and he's already up above 50 yards, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, blitz coming, we pick it up, and that time he finds Mike Evans. First time he's able to hook up with him, and we'll get the first down, a gain of 5. But Lance sort of didn't do too hot after that first drive. 1-4 coming into this one. And a little RPO action there to Trey Palmer on the outside. And he'll get 3 more yards. Love that quick reaction there. 2 catches, 18 for the rookie. And now this little half full house like pistol look. It's a handoff. No, it's a keeper for Lance. But he cannot get anywhere as Harrison Smith making the play in the backfield. 3rd and 9. Big time play from the veteran safety. And Lance steps up, and he fires an absolute dot over the middle to Trey Palmer, running up the seam, and we're going to move the chains down to the 28. We'll go right back to the ground. Oh, my God. Look at that move by Rachaad White. Guys, The running game is back in Madden 24 if you haven't figured it out yet. I have not seen that kind of patience and decision-making out of a running back in about 2 years in CPU play. Lance rolling out. He's got room. Lance still got room. He's got a blocker, and he's down to the 4. Trey Lance, 30 yards on the ground, adding to the 50+ that White has given us. We have had a heck of a first half on the ground, and look at that run by James Robinson for the touchdown. How do you stop that? How do you stop that when they can just sit there and wait for them blocks to develop and pick the holes so perfectly to get to where they need to be? And we're going to go up 13-0. Just look at this vision here. Okay, let me wait. Set that block up. Boom. I'm going to bounce outside. Clear lane to the end zone. So the first quarter has definitely been one to forget for Minnesota, as they have gotten down early here and have not been able to move the ball until right there. First time they've been able to hook up. Justin Jefferson finding ways over the middle to get wide open, and he gets it across midfield, and that right there probably just quadrupled the total yardage earned by the Vikings this entire game. Little play action there to Fournette. Cousins taking another shot to Jefferson. Why not? Down inside the 30. Vikings finding ways to move the ball. Fournette up the middle, showing that same patience we just saw from our running backs, and finds his way for 6 yards down inside to the 21. And the Vikings knocking on the door here finally in this first half with just 5:55 to go. A little fake end around, handoff to Fournette. But we had a good play from none other than Duke Shelley coming into the backfield to make the stop for no gain. So far, Shelley has been a great addition to this team. And there's a quick one over the middle to Hawkinson, right over the top of the defense, and that is a touchdown. What is wrong with his helmet? Oh my God, guys, look at his helmet. Here we go. Second half has kicked off. We get a chance to start on offense. 14-7, handed off to White. Gets a nice block on the outside, tries to bounce it outside of Godwin, and he can't get far out there, but hey, he will get 8 yards. Another handoff to White, and oh, he takes a shot from Hicks. So far, I've seen that same tackle animation like 18 times today. So, there's that. Do with that information what you will, and a beautiful juke move. Absolutely beautiful move by White to get that first. So far, I'm really liking what I'm seeing in Rachaad White. Play action rollout for Lance. He looking deep down the field, and he's off target again. He had Palmer open. It was a tight window. Yes, it was, but he had him. He had a step or two on his guy, and he could not connect. Another play action. Lance has got to get out of there, but he won't be able to. Danielle Hunter tracks him down for the Vikings' first sack of the day. Big time play by the Vikings defense. And now he's just looking for the screen, and it will not get enough, and we'll have to punt it. All right, so play action to start things off for Minnesota. A little quick one over the middle to Osborne. So obviously we didn't get things done on our opening drive. We still have a 7-point lead, and there's still 8:15 to go in this first half. Or in this first game. My gosh, and there's another sack. Shaquille Barrett coming off the edge for the big play. So both teams getting a sack on the opening drive of the second half. And Cousins going deep, but that time he finds Jordan Addison, the rookie, open out to the 39 for a gain of 21. And the Vikings will keep their drive alive. Play action, Cousins rolls out. Lets it go over the middle, and it's almost intercepted. Levante David gets his hand on it and forces an incompletion. So far, though, overall, I have to be happy with this defense. I really do. We've been playing rather well for who we have available to us and who we're playing, as that goes out of bounds. 3rd and 10. Cousins not happy about something there. Maybe there was a wrong route ran, or play call didn't get into what he thought it was going to be. Who knows? 3rd and 10, though. Let's see if they can recover. Oh, no, he can't. Vita Vea right up the middle for the big sack, and that will force another punt. Defense giving us more opportunities as Rachaad White reversing field to try and get himself some yardage, but he is not able to. The Vikings also doing a pretty good job, not in the running game, but in the passing game. They have kept things in check, along with Lance's few inaccuracies as he finally connects with Chris Godwin. And man, if he puts that in front of him, Godwin might have had a much bigger gain. And Godwin got hurt on the play. First catch of the day, and he gets hurt. Oh man, we really can't afford that. I hope that's not serious. And oh, look at Lance go on the outside. Finally goes down at the 45. My God, my heart skipped a beat. Slide, dude. Please slide. Pistol formation. Handoff. White with a big lane. Juke move. And he's down inside the 30. And give that man a 100-yard performance. My gosh, we worked so hard to get a 100-yard performance in Madden 23. And here in our first game of Madden 24, we already have one. What a game this has been so far. Handoff. White cuts it back inside. And he's down to the 22. Quick snap for Lance. Over the middle. It's caught. And it's Russell Gage who stepped into the role of Chris Godwin for us, making a catch for 13. Got ourselves in the red zone once again. Can we capitalize? Play action. Lance over the middle, and oh my God. I don't even know who that was, but they just dropped it. Was that Otten or was that a backup? Oh my God, that looked horrible. Hand off to White, and Asamoah doing an excellent job of getting through that line of defense. And here it is, 3rd and goal. Can we get ourselves another touchdown? We need 10 yards. We're going for a screen. White has an initial block, but 68 missed his block, and that is going to lead us to have to kick a field goal. You've got to be kidding me. I thought we were about to get the ball back. Oh my God. Kirk Cousins just threw that thing up and said, screw it. Jefferson's down there somewhere. Took a huge shot, and Jefferson does what Jefferson does, making a huge play. I thought we were getting to the end of the quarter without any craziness happening, and boy, was I wrong. 1st and 10 to the 30. Empty backfield for Cousins. He's got a man. He's looking short. He's got Fournette down to the 29, a short gain of 2. Man, I really thought we were getting to the end of this quarter. That's why I didn't say nothing at the beginning of that play, because I was like, I'll just let this run out and we'll pick up in the 4th. And I was completely wrong as Cousins throws it away, making it 3rd and 8. Well, can we at least force a field goal, I guess? I don't know. Uh-oh, Jefferson's lit up. And Cousins goes to Fournette again, and he won't get the first. Here we go. Opening up in the 4th quarter, up by 7. Vikings close the 3rd quarter out with a quick field goal, and we are now going to get a chance to see what Rachaad White can do. Big lane off the left side, and he is out to the 35. 21 carries, 122 yards. And if you're wondering, we are rocking the Tampa Bay Bucks book on both sides of the ball. I haven't made any changes yet. Short throw outside to Gage, and he'll get 3. Trey Lance not having the best day as a quarterback. 10 of 20 for like 80 yards. But the ground game has been alive and well. I say that as we have our first bad run of the day. Well, up until that point, the run game was alive and well. 3rd and 8. Lance got to throw it. And he finds Mike Evans downfield to the 45. Evans using his body and his strength to haul in that catch, even though he took a shot. And we'll get ourselves across midfield. And that's the kind of, thing that you can expect when you have Mike Evans that gives that young quarterback a safety blanket to look at. And look at Rachaad White just doing work on the interior of this defense, finding lanes and just making stuff out of nothing. Gets almost 10 yards, and Lowry jumps there, and it's going to be a false start. Looks like the guard drew him off sides. I don't even know who the heck the guard is. Is it Felder or something like that? There's a pitch play. Nothing. Nothing at all. Harrison Smith, like, hey, man, you're not going to do that on me, man. I've been around the block a few times. There's no way you're going to get that one past me. 3rd and 9. And now can Lance do it again through the air? Uh-oh, he's under pressure. He escapes it, and he's going to take off. Dukes moves on the defender, and he's down to the 39, but he will be still short of the first. And we are going to go for it. Oh, wow, this is very, very risky. 4th and 4 from the 39. Lance off target, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. So the Vikings ended up having to go 3 and out after that big stop, which was a big win for us because after giving up that turnover, they could have done some damage. But luckily, our defense held strong. Duke Shelley broke up a pass on 3rd down to force the punt. And now we have the ball back, and there goes Rachaad White again, getting outside to the 27. Once again, it's Harrison Smith making the play, but 3rd and 3. Let's see what we do here. We're going to go right back to the ground. No, Lance is going to throw it. Short one outside to Palmer, and Palmer gets the first. 5:10 to go. Lance steps up in the pocket. He's going to take off with it, and he dives forward to the 47. 83 yards on 10 rushes for Trey Lance in his debut as a Buccaneer. It's been such a big addition to this offense, and then add into it Rachaad White, who is about to go for a $150. Now, some of these numbers are a little inflated, so things will probably change. I'll be messing with the XP sliders. I'll be messing with the auto subs to try and balance things out. I'll be messing with the fatigue to make sure players are getting subbed in a more of a rotational role. But overall, I think so far this game is playing rather well on base settings. I don't see that much that I really need to tweak. As Lance rolls out, he's going to run it again. Wide open space down to the 15. And now he's over 100 yards. 250 yards on the ground today between Trey Lance and Rachaad White. Handoff, and not much there. But these 29 carry things, I mean, that's not going to be forever. I'll see what the play count is and, you know, all that stuff to just see if we're at least getting the right amount of plays and what's happening to try and make things a little bit easier. But as of right now, I mean, we got to work with what we got to work with. I got to slowly work that stuff in. I'll probably start tweaking the fatigue and the auto subs to see if that sort of makes things a little bit easier. As Lance trying to get outside, and he is ripped down, and we'll have to take a field goal, but this 3 points could end up being the difference in a win and overtime. It's up, and it's good. We got ourselves a 10-point lead with just a minute 51 to go. Kirk Cousins, quick over the middle, and a beautiful shot to KJ Osborne. What a play, and Osborne definitely deserves recognition for making the adjustment on that one to make the catch, and there's another quick one to Justin Jefferson down to the 45. Minnesota moving quickly here because they need to. And there's another one to Jefferson. And just like that, they've completely flipped fields in 3 or 4 plays down to the 25, but is it going to be enough? Incomplete over the middle will stop the clock for him. But again, will it be enough? 48 seconds remain. They're still down by 10. So they need a touchdown and an onside kick. And then another scoring drive, and that right there pretty much just sealed it. That right there, William Golston with the sack, just pretty much sealed this game because that took up too much time. And now 4th and 25, they're going to have to go for it here. And as long as we don't absolutely collapse, we should get the ball back and be able to down this thing out. Cousins quick drop. He knows he needs time. He's getting it. Line holding up beautifully right now with this 3-man front. Almost everybody's doubled. And Cousins going to put this thing in the end zone. And it's incomplete. And that right there, folks, is going to be the game. 1 down will get it done. and we will get our first win. First game of the series is also our first win of the series. And I can say that I'm a little surprised. I mean, I'm happy we won, but I was not expecting it. I really was not. But we put enough pieces together. The ground game came to life and led us to victory along with some tough defensive play. And Trey Lance, as a starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, gets his first win. All right, so we might have a new Madden, but we don't have too much new stuff because, once again, it's torn labrums left and right. And Shaquille Barrett is the first culprit of it this year, and still 4-week injury. So we are going to have to do something to bring in an edge rusher now at this point, because I don't know if we have much available behind him at the position. I think it's Anthony Nelson right now, and I'm just not sure that we can rely on because it's 69 overall. I don't know, man. We might have to see if we can bring somebody in from free agency, see if there's anybody out there available. But that will be all for the next edition of the Buccaneers franchise. We come away with a win, though, even though we take the loss. The next week, we are going to have our home opener, and it's against the Chicago Bears in Justin Fields. So we saw what Trey Lance did. We should expect the same thing out of Justin Fields. It should be a pretty big matchup. And yeah, so with that being said, that is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you guys so much for the support on the last video. So before you leave, consider hitting that like button if you like what you saw, subscribing if you have not already, and turning on that bell notification so you know when these videos go live. And I will see you guys next time.